The Sistine Chapel, located within Vatican City, stands as one of the most renowned and iconic masterpieces of Renaissance art. Its ceiling, painted by Michelangelo between 1508 and 1512, is often hailed as one of the greatest artistic achievements in history. The work not only exemplifies Michelangelo's genius but also encapsulates the humanist ideals of the Renaissance, making it a symbol of cultural rebirth in Europe. Historical context: the Renaissance and the Papal Commission. The Renaissance was a period of immense cultural and intellectual revival in Europe, beginning in Italy in the 14th century and reaching its peak in the 15th and 16th centuries. During this time, there was a renewed interest in classical antiquity, humanism, and the potential of human achievement. Artists, architects, writers, and thinkers sought to harmonize the ideals of ancient Greece and Rome with contemporary Christian thought. It was against this backdrop that Pope Julius II commissioned Michelangelo to paint the ceiling of the Sistine Chapel in 1508. The Sistine Chapel itself, named after Pope Sixtus IV who commissioned its construction in the 1470s, was originally decorated with frescoes by notable artists such as Sandro Botticelli, Pietro Perugino, and Domenico Ghirlandaio. However, Pope Julius II, a passionate patron of the arts, desired something more grand and monumental for the ceiling, a project that would surpass any artistic endeavor of the time. At the time of the commission, Michelangelo was not primarily known as a painter but as a sculptor. His reputation had been cemented with the completion of his marble statue of David in Florence, and he had recently been summoned to Rome to work on the Pope's tomb. However, Pope Julius II insisted that Michelangelo take on the Sistine Chapel project, despite the artist's initial reluctance and lack of experience with fresco painting. The challenge of the ceiling. Painting the Sistine Chapel ceiling presented Michelangelo with several challenges. The chapel's vast dimensions, approximately 40 meters long and 14 meters wide, required a massive undertaking, and Michelangelo had to work on scaffolding high above the floor. The fresco technique, which involves applying pigment onto wet plaster, demanded precision and speed, as the plaster dried quickly, leaving little room for error. Michelangelo, being a perfectionist and intensely focused on his work, took on the challenge alone, despite having assistance. The artist devised his own scaffolding system and worked in isolation for much of the project, often lying on his back to paint. His relentless dedication to the project is evident in the meticulous detail and composition of the ceiling, which ultimately took 4 years to complete. The themes and composition of the ceiling. The Sistine Chapel ceiling is a visual narrative that spans multiple biblical themes, primarily from the Book of Genesis. Michelangelo divided the ceiling into 9 central panels, which depict key scenes from Genesis, including the creation of the world, the creation of Adam and Eve, and the fall of man. Surrounding these central panels are figures of prophets, sibyls, female prophets from classical mythology, and ancestors of Christ, all of whom serve to connect the Old Testament stories to Christian salvation history. The creation of Adam, one of the most famous panels, is often regarded as the pinnacle of Michelangelo's work on the ceiling. The scene depicts God reaching out to touch Adam's hand, giving life to the first man. The dynamic tension between their outstretched fingers has become one of the most iconic images in Western art, symbolizing the connection between the divine and the human. Michelangelo's depiction of the human form in this panel is particularly significant, as it reflects the Renaissance fascination with anatomy and the study of the human body. Adam's muscular figure, rendered with anatomical precision, embodies the Renaissance ideal of human beauty and strength, while the act of creation speaks to the deeper theological message of the divine spark within humanity. Another striking element of the ceiling is the creation of Eve, where Eve is depicted emerging from Adam's side. Michelangelo presents her as a graceful figure, emphasizing the divine creation of woman as part of the unfolding plan of humanity. The surrounding panels narrate the stories of Noah, the flood, and the drunkenness of Noah, culminating in an intricate web of biblical storytelling that merges human history with divine intervention. Beyond the central panels, the prophets and sibyls who sit along the edges of the ceiling represent a broader understanding of spiritual prophecy and wisdom. Michelangelo carefully chose figures such as the prophet Isaiah and the Delphic Sibyl to emphasize the universality of the Christian message. These figures, rendered with dramatic expression and powerful gestures, speak to the artist's mastery of human emotion and his ability to convey deep spiritual meaning through the human form. Michelangelo's artistic style and techniques. Michelangelo's work on the Sistine Chapel ceiling marked a departure from the prevailing artistic styles of the time. His approach to painting was deeply influenced by his background in sculpture, which is evident in his treatment of the human figure. Michelangelo's figures are monumental, muscular, and imbued with a sense of weight and physical presence. His mastery of anatomical precision allowed him to create lifelike figures that appear to leap from the ceiling with dynamic energy. The use of foreshortening, a technique that creates the illusion of depth on a flat surface, is another hallmark of Michelangelo's artistry. This technique is most evident in the prophets and sibyls, whose bodies twist and turn in space, creating a sense of three-dimensionality. Michelangelo's skillful use of light and shadow further enhances the dramatic impact of his figures, giving them a sense of movement and vitality. The ceiling is also notable for its vibrant colors, which were recently restored in a major conservation effort. Over centuries, dirt, candle smoke, and previous restoration attempts had dulled the colors of the frescoes, obscuring Michelangelo's original palette. However, the restoration revealed the bright blues, reds, and greens that Michelangelo used to bring his figures to life. The result is a vivid, almost sculptural quality to the figures, as if they are illuminated by divine light, theological and humanistic significance. The Sistine Chapel ceiling is not only a masterpiece of artistic technique but also a profound theological and philosophical statement. Michelangelo's work reflects the Renaissance humanist belief in the dignity and potential of humanity, as well as the divine nature of human creativity. By depicting the stories of Genesis with such emphasis on the human form, Michelangelo emphasizes the connection between God and mankind, suggesting that humans, made in the image of God, possess an inherent beauty and nobility. The ceiling also serves as a visual manifestation of the Christian doctrine of salvation history, with its intricate interplay of Old Testament prophecy and New Testament fulfillment. The prophets and sibyls, for example, prefigure the coming of Christ, linking the biblical narrative to the promise of redemption. The overall composition of the ceiling, with its grand scale and complex iconography, mirrors the Renaissance belief in the order and harmony of the universe, a reflection of divine wisdom. Legacy and influence. Michelangelo's work on the Sistine Chapel ceiling had a profound impact on the course of Western art. It set a new standard for artistic excellence and inspired generations of artists to push the boundaries of their craft. The ceiling's dynamic compositions, monumental figures, and innovative use of space influenced the development of Mannerism, a style that emerged in the late Renaissance and emphasized exaggerated forms and dramatic effects. The Sistine Chapel remains one of the most visited and admired works of art in the world, drawing millions of visitors each year. Its influence extends beyond the realm of art, touching on broader cultural and religious themes. For many, the ceiling serves as a visual representation of the Renaissance itself, a period of extraordinary creativity, intellectual inquiry, and belief in the potential of human achievement. In conclusion, Michelangelo's Sistine Chapel is the pinnacle of Renaissance art, not only for its technical brilliance but also for its profound exploration of the human condition and the divine. Through his masterful use of the human form, vivid color, and complex composition, Michelangelo created a work that transcends time, speaking to the enduring power of art to inspire, uplift, and connect humanity to the divine.